Hey guys, Deprived Curse Bearer here, and this is technically gonna be the first video I believe I will post on this channel. And it was just some suggestions and a tier list to help with the new enhanced balancer boss. So, first phase, it's kind of normal. It's just the original fight. So just do as you would. I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you already fought the regular balancers. Just do what you would originally do in that fight. The second phase is where things change. It's not like the other enhanced bosses where it adds like another phase to it. It's kind of it feels kind of like a whole new boss. They turn from slow attacks to they're very aggressive. They have very long combo strings and they'll be doing bleed. But in this boss, when you kill one of them, it kind of stuns the others. So in this fight, you're gonna want to prioritize doing heavy burst damage to just try to stagger them over and over. So it leaves less room to get hit. And so when the second phase starts, I would recommend backing up because the first one's gonna run at you. It gives you more time to kind of burst it down and then move on to the others. The dodging, most of the attacks, you're just gonna want to roll into them. There are some harder to dodge attacks, like the one where it thrusts the spear out and it shoots shards. You're definitely gonna want to dodge for it there. If you dodge back, the shard's gonna hit you and do a bunch of bleed damage. And other than that, second phase doesn't have terribly. It's not terribly hard. You just have to focus on bursting them down, try to dodge these attacks, and then after you kill a certain amount, they will transform. They'll disappear and then transform into the giant worm. Now, what you want to do when this worm spawns is your entire team wants to run in separate directions. One goes left, one goes forward, one goes right. Because the first attack it's gonna do is the spears from the sky attack that it had in the original fight. But this is a lane, so it'll target one person. When you split, the others will be out of the range of the attack. There's no way they can get hit. So the one person has to just focus on dodging. And then it's gonna slither around. That is the hardest part of the fight because it it does damage when it slithers next to you. I have no tips on dodging that. It sometimes feels near impossible to dodge. With certain characters like Iron Knight, it's probably a lot easier with their iframes. So if you need help with that, Iron Knight's probably pretty good. Or you could just tank it with something like Guardian. And then periodically through while it's there, it'll jump in the ground and send out shockwaves like what just happened. This is very easy to dodge. Just dodge into it. It won't hit you. Or there's gaps in between that you can run to. And the other attack it's gonna do is kind of like the Erdtree Beast from the original Elden Ring. Just dodge into it as you would in that game. It's incredibly easy to dodge. And then it'll start slithering around again. And then it'll do a huge flower attack. Once you see this starting up, just run away. It'll do a lot of damage and then it'll also do bleed. So you might get one shot, depending on the character you're playing. So just run away from it, get out of range. And then once that's over, it'll go back to the separated ones. So your team wants to get back together while they're doing that, and then they'll run at you one at a time, and it's easier to just burst them down because you'll be far away. They run at you one at a time. Just burst them down, keep them stunned. It'll make it easier. And then from there, it's gonna do that a couple times. I had it happen, I believe, 3 times, and each time I fought it. it's gonna go into that worm phase to kill a couple. Just do the same thing. In the worm phase, if you kill the worm or stagger it, it will end that, and then the regular or blood balancers will come back. I don't recommend trying to do that. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage to it, to the overall health bar, and you're just gonna take a lot of unnecessary damage. Just run away and just wait. It buys your team time to. So just run away in that phase. Don't try to kill it. If you're solo, you can definitely do it, but in trios, it's incredibly hard. I would avoid doing that altogether. And other than that, it's not really much more to it. They're not the hardest ever dark. Well, they're technically not Elder Darks. Standard bears, I think is what they're called. Um, but that's really it. It's not a terribly hard fight. And I'm going to end up recording a tier list to add on to the end of this video, which you guys will probably see. But in this fight, the most important things is stagger, damage, and survivability. There's a lot of them. They're a lot more aggressive than the original fight. So if you get snuck up on, you're probably not getting hit with one attack. You're getting hit with like 3 or 4, and with squishier characters like Scholar, who I played in my first run, you're just gonna get cooked. You're gonna die. You're gonna sell your team. Um, Other than that, that's pretty much it for the fight. It's not very complex. Just try to burst them down, and good luck. On to the tier list. All right, what's good, guys? Deprived Curse Bear here, and this is gonna be the tier list section of my video on tips for the balancers, the new enhanced balancers. They're technically not Everdark. They're like standard bears, I think. Technically is what they're called. I played a couple runs. I played Skull and I played Wilder against this boss in particular, but I have 200 hours in the game, so I have played all these characters numerous times, and I know, their weaknesses and their strengths. So I could tell basically on my first run which characters I think would be best and which would be not as good. Actually, let me delete this. I don't think any character is bad in this game. So the bottom tier is going to be C tier. They're all usable. Just some is better than others against this fight. I think the 3 most important things for the standard bearer balancers are stagger, because what you want to do in this fight is kill them as quickly as possible, and staggering them makes it easier for everyone to just burst them down, makes so you're not taking damage. It's the most important. Then next is raw damage. You just want to be doing a bunch of damage to burst one down so it stuns the other ones, and you just keep doing that over and over. So the goal is to not get hit. Burst them down as quickly as possible. They can't do anything. You just cook them. And third thing is survivability. There's some pretty hard to dodge attacks, and they attack rather fast in this version of the boss. So if you're like my first one was on Scholar, spoilers for his placement, but he's gonna be low on the tier list because he dies a lot quicker. So if you're focused on one and you accidentally get hit from behind when they're doing a 10-hit combo, probably going down. Whereas if you're Raider or Guardian, you can survive that. So survivability is there. So again, 3 most important things: stagger, raw damage, and survivability. I'm gonna start off with S tier here. I think the best character for the balancers is by far Raider. He does a shit ton of stagger damage, does a shit ton of raw damage, and then he's tanky. The hard to dodge attack and the when it turns into the giant worm, you could just use your skill to get like it's like 90% damage reduction. So it's something crazy like that. It's between 70 and 90. Just not take damage. And his ult, big AoE, big damage that makes you do more damage after. It's a great ult for this fight. He is the perfect character. If you probably want a raider on your team if you're struggling, get a raider. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and put my most played character is Wilder. I think he is really good for this fight. Stagger damage, of course. Gonna be using great swords most likely. So, massive stagger. I have a video of my victory against it coming out if it's not out before this already. And I mean, you just stagger them pretty well, kill them in four, dual wielding greatsword attacks. It's pretty good. He does a bunch of raw damage. He has good amounts of HP and survivability, as I said. For the worm phase, he has his grapple for movement when you want to run away from the bomb, helps him traverse quicker. And then his ult, if you watch the video that's coming out or is already out, his ult is great. Hits multiple of them. If they're a bunch on you, it's good for getting teammates up. So you can hit teammates, you can hit them. Big AoE ults are good for this fight. This is a very good character. I have Raider right above him, then Wilder, and then Guardian. This is the three S tiers. I think these are the best characters for these fights. Raider definitely the best. These two interchangeable. Like Wilder probably has more stagger, dual wielding great swords, but Guardian has more survivability by far. And they both do pretty good damage. And Guardian has the HP, the damage resistance. You probably have a shield to block their attacks. It's pretty good. His weapon art, some crowd control. It's gonna be hitting a bunch of them. And then his ult, of course, it's probably the best ult in the game. It's gonna be getting people up, make them immune, and do big damage to all of the enemies surrounding you. This is probably the best ult for this fight in the game too, so it just makes sense. It's best ult for this fight. But these three characters on your team, you're probably pretty good for this fight. They're gonna be staggering them, putting on massive amounts of damage, and surviving. So I think these three are by far the best if you're struggling on this fight. Try one of these three characters. And we're gonna jump down to C. I think it's easiest to do the top characters and the bottom characters. Now I have Revenant at the bottom. Now, in Revenant's defense, this is my least played character in the game. I've still played her a decent amount, but I've played the DLC characters at this point more than her. Not gonna lie. Especially now, I feel like Undertaker's is the better Revenant, but that's a whole different discussion. She's not gonna have crazy stagger. I mean, unless you're running around with like ultra great swords, which is a possibility you can do with her. But if you're doing a normal club build, her stagger is not gonna be crazy. Her damage is not gonna be as high as other people's. She's squishier than these three, and she's gonna be getting a little bit cooked with all their attacks coming your way. I mean, and then her skill, the summons, they're decent as there's better options, I feel, than her ult. If you're using the explosion relic, you can get some decent AoE out on it. But other than that, I just she's just so squishy. You're gonna be getting cooked on this character. I'm not gonna lie. And that's the same reason that Scholar is gonna be C tier. He's squishy. I played Scholar my first run, and I was just getting cooked, dude. I'm like, man, like they have some very hard to dodge attacks. So if you're getting 1 to 2 shot, it's not gonna be a fun time. You're gonna kind of sell your team a little bit. I sold my team. I was getting cooked. If there's more than one, dude, I literally couldn't do anything. I was getting down so quick. I didn't even have time to like react. And again, I was doing the throwing pot build, which I would not recommend going for the boss. You probably just want to go full arcane because they move around a lot. Missing your pots just feels terrible. If you can get some decent AoEs on them, it can do a lot of damage. But arcane, and by arcane I mean bleed. I don't think poison or scarlet rot are gonna be very good in this boss because again, you want to burst them down as quick as possible. So the damage over time, you're not gonna get a lot of value out of it. So if you're going to go Scholar, you probably want to go for bleed weapons. I would avoid Poison or Scarlet Rot because you don't want them to be up long enough for it to really matter, for it to get much damage at all out of it. You kind of want to be bursting them down immediately. You get these three on them, you know, two L1s with Wilder is like half their HP. So you might not even get a chance to proc the status effects, let alone it get any value. So if you're running this, you want to do bleed, but again, not a lot of stagger damage. He's gonna be using thrusting swords, and then just not a lot of damage other than that bleed, because it's mostly arcane. His scaling is basically only arcane. So that's why he's down here. He doesn't have very high survivability, not a lot of damage, not a lot of stagger. That's why these two are down here. Now we get our mid-rank characters. Top of A, probably gonna put Executor. Between Executor and Recluse, Executor has a better survivability. Oh, and back on Scholar, his ult is decent for this because it connects him. That's it's probably not it's probably the worst still though because it's not a bunch of damage. Other than that, Executor again, status effects aren't the best, so I wouldn't go Poison or Scarlet Rot, but Frost and Bleed definitely are very good if you can proc them. Even though they're a bleed boss, they can still be bled. So Bleed's good. Don't go Poison or Scarlet Rot build. He doesn't have the best stagger damage, but he can do decent damage and he has decent survivability. Don't don't try to deflect. There's so many enemies, and you want to burst them down quickly. It's not worth it. Don't try to deflect. Don't try to be parrying like a Sekiro. His ult his ult can be very good for this fight. The roar attack, especially hitting basically all the enemies at once. You do some good damage. I feel. Only problem you might run into is be careful with his ult because he's a big target. You're not gonna get iframes. They can burst you down pretty quickly with their faster attacks and their longer combo strings. And they're more aggressive than in the regular fight. So survivability can be low, but his ult's very good. That's why he's an A tier. He's just not on the level. I feel like these kind of trivialize the boss. Like these three characters can fuck. Like even on duo run, I was doing pretty good on Wilder. If my other teammate wasn't a scholar, I feel like we could have actually completed that on the run where we had our third person leave. It's just he was getting down so often because he's getting like 1 to 2 shot by the boss. It's crazy. I played Scholar the first time. I felt like I was taking so much damage, and I played Wild, and same attacks were doing nothing to me. It's crazy the amount of the difference in damage. It's very important for this fight, which kind of doesn't apply to the next A tier is Recluse. Doesn't have the most survivability. She is a squishier character, but she just has the highest damage in the game. Especially if you get a gravity well or a lightning stick or even the frost cube spells along with her ult being hitting everything. She just has so much AoE damage, the highest raw damage. Like she's not gonna have stagger because it spells, of course. I mean, there's stagger on the gravity one, shit like that. So that's good. Bunch of raw damage. She can just burst him down. You probably do want to recruit on your team. The only reason she's not ass is because if you do get hit, probably once even. And this is a regular. I probably should put a disclaimer at the start. This is a regular mode. I have not played it against it in Deep of Night yet. Deep of Night, she's probably S tier, probably best because you're probably gonna be getting one shot no matter the character you're playing on. So that raw damage is just so important. But in base game, if she didn't have the highest damage, she'd be lower. But just doing so much damage, being able to nuke all the enemies is very good. Recluse on your team can kind of carry. Then trying to see if I want to put the next three in A or B. These are the three that I wasn't sure on. I'm just gonna go ahead and put Undertaker in A though. She has hammers, so you're gonna have a good stagger. You'll have decent damage, not the best, but you can have some decent damage, especially with certain weapons. like Bubble Shower. You can do some crazy damage. And then she also has high survivability. She can alt spam. She can use the alt version of her skill to auto dodge. It'll make those very hard to near impossible to dodge attacks. It'll trivialize them. So she's all around decent. She's not the best at any one thing other through these characters like stagger, damage, and survivability. But she's decent overall. You can do really well with this character. And yeah, and she's kind of like that middle ground. I think Undertaker and up, you're fine with any of them. I mean, you're fine down here too, but you're gonna struggle. But S and A, you're gonna be completely fine. Boss shouldn't be that hard. It's not the hardest ever dark, but first time you're kind of confused, don't realize because it's different from the regular fight where you wanna kind of split up. You really want to stick together and burst down. Damage is so important in this one. Now we have our B tiers. Start with Duchess. Duchess, I put it B because again, daggers. You have basically no stagger, really no stagger. So they're just gonna get their combo strings off on you. She doesn't have the highest damage. Kind of relying on some bleed maybe if you're doing daggers. Getting poison and Scarlet Rot, I would not recommend. It's too slow. And their character skill relies on other people kind of doing damage. But I mean, you really want to kill them so fast that you like Duchess doesn't even get a chance to use her character skill. Her ult's still good. It'll confuse them, make them miss attacks. Or if you need to revive, they want to attack you. Her ult's good for this fight. She has decent survivability with her better dodges and her ultimate, but her damage and her stagger does not line up with any of the tiers above her. Kind of the same reason Iron Eye is in B tier. He's probably top three characters in the game. Probably two. I probably have him right under Recluse. I mean, they might be interchangeable, honestly. But in this fight again, he's not the high stagger really non-existent because he's using arrows. I mean, and you don't want poison or scarlet rot. You're gonna be killing them faster than that. Otherwise, they're just gonna hit you with a fuck ton of combos. So that's not really the best. So his damage isn't gonna be that high. His stagger is non-existent. He has decent survivability because the iframes on Mark again, kind of like that, just Undertaker, make it easier to dodge those very hard to dodge attacks. His ult's going to be very good though if you use it correctly. It's a little bit harder to use than some others like Executor or Recluse because you gotta have to line them up. But it's still very good, high damage. But it's just kind of more of a status effect character, and it's not the highest burst damage, more sustained damage, which you want burst, which is why these characters are up here. Do high burst damage to them. But yeah, I think this is a good tier list right here. Again, you can use them all. They're all usable. All the characters are good. They have their own strengths and weaknesses. And when it comes to this boss, the characters that don't do as much burst damage are just lower on the tier list. That's why Scholar, why Revenant are down here. Why even the top tier character. Both top tier characters right here. Just a little bit lower. Because again, there's multiple of them. You get surrounded because you're not doing enough damage to kill them and stun them efficiently. You're gonna be eating a lot more attacks and be getting cooked. And they like with lower HP and defense, you're gonna be getting down a lot. Like I was in my first run. That was an experience. I sold my team. I had a Undertaker and a Guardian. I think they both got downed once, maybe twice. I got down 3, 4 times. I was just getting cooked. But yeah, this is the final tier list. I hope you guys learned something. I hope I wasn't ranting too much. Didn't make a script for this one. I kind of just wanted to do it so I could give my whatever thoughts came to mind, true thoughts. So yeah, final tier list, and I'll